A lot of people don't realize the incredible story between the Muslims and the Jews when they split. And it was all due to this particular family feud with our patriarch Abraham. And I say our as a Christian, but genetically it is our for Muslims and Jews. They are truly more genetically related than we are as Gentiles. But here, this is about Hagar being given to Abraham. Hagar is the Egyptian servant of Abraham and his wife Sarah, who is later called Sarah. Her name at this point is Sarai. And Sarai is barren. She can't have children. They've been trying for a long time, and they are up in age right now. Abraham, I believe, later has Isaac when he's over 100 years old. But the firstborn is actually unto the servant wife, Hagar. So let me read you this portion. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said to Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go into my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. So Abram's wife, Sarai, is really testing him. She's saying, go into my servant, so that it may please you, my husband, and you may have children through her, but so that we can basically have this child. This is a test, guys. But it goes on to say, and Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived, and when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid unto thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. So this is the precise moment in time that Muslims and Jews essentially begin their family tree, right? So Muslims come from Hagar's son, her firstborn, which is Ishmael. Now this is where the whole divide comes between Jews and Muslims, right? Because Muslims believe that Ishmael is the child of promise, right? He's the firstborn, technically. But Hagar is not his wife. She is the Egyptian servant. And God had already promised Abram at this time, that his firstborn would be from his wife. But the Lord does miracles, right? And his wife is barren. She later has Isaac in her old age, and Isaac is the child of promise, the secondborn, right? Because the whole thing with firstborn and inheritance of the father, that's a very human ordeal. That's an earthly ordeal where we always give unto our firstborn. I say always, in the past, traditionally, we give unto our firstborn the inheritance. That's not how God works. Many times, God always gives it to the secondborn. And this is kind of showing that parallel of how God works versus how the laws of men work. But yes, this is the divine, because the Muslims believe Ishmael is the child of promise as the firstborn to the servant, and his line created a bunch of princes. But it goes on to say, so since Hagar had a child with Abraham, she is blessed. Her lineage is blessed. And because of her connection to Abraham, an angel comes and visits her. It actually goes on to say, and the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, because she ran away. You know, she really pissed off Sarai. The angel found her by a fountain on the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence camest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to the mistress and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. So this is obviously saying her son Ishmael, Hagar, They are the seed of this new family tree, which would be the genetic group that is the modern day Muslims. It's so interesting, and people don't really understand that. But the Lord blesses all of these different families and groups because of their connection to his favored group, right? Because Jesus also comes from the line of Abraham, obviously, and Moses, that's the line of Shem. All of us Gentiles, we come from Japheth. That's most Europeans. But I wanted to go ahead and mention this because some people don't really know where the Muslims came from through the Jews, but now you should know. It's right here in this family feud.